You're led up to the guillotine, hands bound, the crowd buzzing with anticipation. As the executioners position you on the guillotine plank, a chilling question creeps into your mind. Will I be staring straight at the blade as it falls? Welcome back, gross historians. Dr. Islington here to answer this very question. Did guillotine victims ever face up during execution, or is that just a gruesome myth? Before we proceed, my usual disclaimer. I, Oxford-educated Dr. Nigel Islington, will be pronouncing the word guillotine as I see fit. I might say guillotine, or I might say guillotine. If you don't like it, you can put it in your pipe and smoke it. Take that, biznatches. Peace. Did guillotine victims ever face up during execution, or is that just a gruesome myth? Let's uncover the truth behind one of history's bloodiest machines. Robespierre, one of the architects of what came to be known as the Great Terror during the French Revolution of the 1790s, as well as other French aristocrats, were rumoured to be executed face up. We can't find any evidence of this or references to execution in this method in any of the historical records. If you can dredge up a historical reference for someone being executed by the guillotine face up, by all means leave a comment below. That's for all you haters out there. See, we answered your question right at the top of the video. Not a wasted moment here at Gross History. If that's all you wanted to know, you can go now. But if you'd like to hear a bit more about how the victims for the guillotine were prepared, by all means keep watching. The French version of the guillotine, first introduced in 1792, was designed for swift and humane executions by decapitation. It featured a tall, upright frame with a weighted, angled blade suspended at the top. The condemned were secured at the bottom, positioning their necks directly below the blade. If you're curious about the fine craftsmanship behind history's most infamous head chopper, click the link above or check out one of our other videos in the end screen. Because let's be honest, there's no shortage of ways people have creatively lost their heads throughout history. Okay, so you've been sentenced to meet Madame Guillotine. What's next? Escorted by guards, the condemned would be led to the guillotine, often amidst a crowd eager for the day's entertainment. The hair of guillotine victims was often cut before execution, but not for style points. The main reason was practical. Long hair could interfere with the lunette, the wooden frame that held the neck in place. Executioners needed a clear, unobstructed cut to ensure the blade did its job swiftly. In revolutionary France, this was a routine part of the process, and some prisoners, especially aristocrats, had their hair shaved or tied up before meeting Madame Guillotine. Marie Antoinette, for example, had her hair cut before her execution in 1793. The removed hair was sometimes kept as a grim souvenir because apparently people in the 18th century had a very different idea of keepsakes. Upon reaching the scaffold, the executioner's assistants would bind the person to a plank, which was then lowered to a horizontal position. This plank, known as the bascule, would be slid forward, positioning the neck into a lunette, a device designed to hold the head securely in place. The condemned did not face up toward the blade. They were positioned face down, perhaps as a final courtesy to avoid an uncomfortably close view of the instrument of their demise. With everything in place, the executioner would release the blade, delivering a swift end. The head would fall into a basket below, and the crowd would react in various ways, from cheers to solemn silence. The executioner or an assistant would often hold up the severed head to the crowd, a gruesome show and tell to confirm the deed was done. This macabre display served as both proof of execution and a warning to any would-be dissenters. After the brief show and tell, both the head and the body were collected. The head was usually placed in a separate basket while the body was laid out. The remains were then transported to a designated burial site. In revolutionary France, this was often a mass grave, where individuality was as absent as a needle in a haystack. Let's take a royal detour and examine the post-mortem journey of King Louis XVI, who found himself on the wrong end of the guillotine on January 21st, 1793. No, King Louis XVI did not scream when he was guillotined. According to historical accounts, he attempted to speak to the crowd before his execution on January 21st, 1793, reportedly saying something along the lines of, "I die innocent of all the crimes imputed to me. I pardon those who have occasioned my death." However, his speech was cut short when executioners quickly positioned him face down for the guillotine. When the blade fell, there were no reports of him making a sound. The swift nature of the guillotine meant that any vocalization would have been impossible after decapitation. The executioner, Charles-Henri Sanson, later confirmed that Louis XVI met his fate with composure. After his beheading, an assistant held up Louis's head to the crowd, eliciting reactions ranging from cheers of "Vive la République" to stunned silence. Louis's body and head were transported to the Madeleine Cemetery in Paris. Due to the political climate, the burial was a modest affair, devoid of the pomp and circumstance one might expect for a former king. In 1815, with the monarchy restored, Louis's remains were exhumed and reinterred in the Basilica of Saint-Denis, the traditional resting place of French royalty. So there you have it. Were people guillotined face up? Not that we can tell, but hey, we're not saying that it might not have happened once in a blue moon. After all, they chopped off more than 12,000 heads during the French Revolution. Who could blame them from turning someone face up for a little change of pace? We can't help but think that this whole rumor might have stemmed from this oft-repeated joke. I'm not much for humor myself, but for the historical record, I thought it needed to be included in this video. On a beautiful Sunday afternoon in the midst of the French Revolution, the revolting citizens led a priest, a drunkard, and an engineer to the guillotine. They ask the priest if he wants to face up or down when he meets his fate. The priest says he would like to face up, so he will be looking towards heaven when he dies. They raise the blade of the guillotine and release it. It comes speeding down and suddenly stops just inches from his neck. The authorities take this as divine intervention and release the priest. The drunkard comes to the guillotine next. He also decides to die face up, hoping that he will be as fortunate as the priest. They raise the blade of the guillotine and release it. It comes speeding down and suddenly stops just inches from his neck. Again, the authorities take this as a sign of divine intervention, and they release the drunkard as well. Next is the engineer. He too decides to die facing up. As they slowly raise the blade of the guillotine, the engineer suddenly says, "Hey, I see what your problem is." That's all for now from us at Gross History. Dr. Islington here, reminding you to keep your head on your shoulders, stay curious, but most of all, stay gross.